Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Last week was the finale of Supernatural, the ending of a 15-year TV show. So of course everyone was really psyched. Well, okay, maybe not. All of us were really scared of what the writers were going to do, and of course, spoilers for basically all of Supernatural, because I'm going to be covering Destiel. But I'm mostly going to be focusing on season 15 though, and how the writers really messed that one up. So what is Destiel? Destiel, Dean Cass, all the same thing. Well, it's a ship between Dean Winchester and Castiel. Dean's a hunter, him and her brother Sam, they fight monsters, all that jazz, the family business. And Castiel is an angel of the not-so-great Lord. We first meet Cass in season 4 when he gripped Dean tight and raised him from perdition. That line always makes me laugh. So starting off, Dean and Cass already have this really weird relationship. Cass had saved Dean from hell, and if not for him, it would have just been Sam on Earth. So the show really wouldn't be able to continue with that brotherly bonding that the writers love oh so much. So yeah, Supernatural wouldn't have been able to continue if it wasn't for Cass. And a lot of you may know that Cass was only supposed to be on for a couple of episodes. He wasn't supposed to become the third lead. But the fans love Cass and Misha Collins, his actor, so much that he became the third lead and has sticked around ever since. So Cass stayed, obviously. And then the budding relationship between him and Dean continued to grow. And there's a lot of Destiel scenes. So many. The writers themselves have even made jokes about it in the show. And before I continue saying anything, this is a very important thing that you guys get through your minds, especially some of you guys, because you guys just can't process it. Jensen, Dean's actor, and Misha aren't homophobic. Wow, what a wild concept. They both support the queer community 100%. So anyone that's talking about how Jensen is homophobic or ever, I'm just like, what is wrong with you? And Misha obviously isn't, because have you seen that man? Okay. So yeah, they are not the reason for the mess of that finale. So like I was saying before, there are many hints at Destiel throughout the show, from the profound bond that they show to the jokes about the angel in the dirty trench coat that's in love with you. Those are both literal quotes directly from the show. I am not making that up. So of course people are going to ship them. Ignoring the Wincest from the earlier seasons, I would like to forget that ever happened, or that people still ship that. We don't have to worry about that. Destiel is the biggest ship in the show, and Super Hulock Tumblr was crawling with it, and everyone got back into Supernatural for this specific reason, and it's risen from the dead. Super Hulock is crazy once more. It's a wild ride, and all because gay love can pierce through the veil of death. And that's another quote directly from the show. If you think I'm lying, go look that up. That is a quote from the show. So with this many people shipping it, some are saying that it's already canon, although technically it wasn't. And a lot of people want it to be canon. I am on that side, obviously. So anywho, lo and behold, season 15, episode 18, Castiel, finally, after 12 years of waiting. 12 years. I haven't been in the Supernatural fandom for that long. It's only been 2-ish years. So I feel so bad for you guys that were there since the beginning. That had to be terrible. So whatever. Castiel professed his love for Dean, and he told Dean that he loved him before it was quickly covered up by him saying, oh, frick. He said this before. I think it was the end of season 12, where he's in a barn again, and he says that he loves Dean, which is quickly covered up by saying that he loves all the Winchesters. Really bad out. So after that happens, the confession, that is, Cass dies. Don't worry, this time he'll come back. And of course, they don't really talk about that confession must. They just gloss over it. So, glossing over a few more things, Cass makes a deal with this thing called the Empty, where demons and angels go where they die. The moment Cass feels any real happiness, he'll be taken by the Empty. Terrible deal. So, back to season 15, episode 18. Billy, whose death, is chasing after Dean and Cass. Cass realizes that the only place to send Billy where everyone will be safe is the empty, but you can't really summon the empty. So he professes his love to Dean while also telling Dean that he's not a killer anymore and that he isn't just his father's soldier, which is something that everyone likes to tell Dean, that he is a killer, he sucks, he's terrible, that he can't feel love. Cass is like, no man, you're amazing. So this is when Cass feels true happiness, and so the empty takes him. Dean's left alone in the Men of Letters bunkers trying to process what just went down, and Chuck, he's God by the way, just killed everyone on Earth, besides Dean, Sam, and Jack. Dean, Cass, and Sam's basically surrogate son. And Michael, the Archangel. This show's crazy. So, then they come up with a plan to kill God. Michael dies. Sam and Dean win. Jack becomes new God. That's the gist of episode 19. Everyone thought, oh, Jack's the new God. He can bring back Castiel and Eileen, Sam's girlfriend. But that's not the focus of this video. But of course, the episode ends with Jack straight up just leaving the Winchesters, and Cass isn't there. Then the real circus begins. Of course, everyone starts clowning. The promos for the series finale come out. Everyone is swearing that Cass will come back. I saw a post of someone zooming in on a masked person's face and saying that it was Misha's eye. It wasn't. Because between this, though, Misha had confirmed that Cass's confession to Dean before he was taken to the empty was in fact romantic, and that Cass loved Dean in that way. Jensen Ackles had also said that Dean wasn't really straight, and he didn't want to put Dean in a box. So for all of us queer folk, latch on to that. Dean ain't straight. Personally, headcanon him as bi because that just makes sense with his character for me, but you can headcanon him any way you want because this show, it hurts us. So yes, finally comes a day that Supernatural is going to end, and everyone is terrified. Everyone talking about how Cass has to come back so that Dean can tell him how he feels. And we all thought that was how it was going to go down. We were all so wrong. To say that the finale was bad is an understatement. It was a dumpster fire. I and a lot of other people refuse to believe that episode could be remotely canon. So here's what happened. Dean and Sam are alone in the bunker going about their daily lives. They're literally all alone. It's just them two. Back like in season 1 through 3 when it was just the brothers on a road trip. Basically how this starts. Except Dean has a dog. That's the only good thing that came out of this. They go to a pie eating competition because the writers have boiled Dean down to pie and cars. Disgusting. And Sam mentions something about Cass that Dean barely reacts to, which is very out of character for him because he has risked his life multiple times for that angel. And the first thing on his mind would have been, I gotta get Cass back. Yeah, again, the only good thing from that episode was that Miracle the dog was back. Only good thing! Okay, then they go on a case to hunt some vampires. Something that they've done a lot, and I would heavily stress this. They have done this multiple times, many times where just them two have taken out an entire nest of vampires. It's easy for them. It's a walk in the park. Jesus Christ, but apparently not this time. They're nearly done when they randomly show up with this one character from like season 1 or whatever, because that was obviously needed. So they're nearly done, and the last vamp pins Dean up against a beam, and in that beam is a nail in which Dean gets impaled on. And I'm pretty sure it had to have gone through his like lung or something because of the placement of it. Either way, Dean dies in Sam's arms. And Bibro fans get that moment. I'm gonna throw up. So I hate that so much. Not the dying in Sam's arms part, because Dean really did need someone there, and that was like he just needed some comfort in that moment. He needed to be told that it was going to be okay, because he did not want to die. But I hate the fact that 30% of the viewers are the way that they are. I digress. Dean goes to heaven. He's dead, where he is greeted by the original Bobby, who's like his better dad, if you don't know, because his actual dad sucks. So this could have been the moment that Dean is reunited with Cass. But no. Bobby makes an offhand comment about Cass helping to build the new heaven. Dean smiles because he's in love with Cass, and then he goes and rides the Impala into the distance listening to Carry On Wayward Son. Because that was obviously something that we needed. Apparently cars have more rights than queers. Sam lives a long life, has a kid, but now with Eileen with some random lady that we don't really know who it is, and dies at an old age. Brothers reunite in heaven, show's over. Literally, not even kidding, that's how it ended. Not telling us what Dean's thoughts were about the confession, gross. For 12 years, ever since Cass's appearance, Supernatural has been queerbaiting its audience. With the jokes and the very obvious subtext that's not even subtext anymore, it's just text. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what they're doing. They've also been known to treat their queer characters really badly. Charlie, a lesbian, was killed off by being killed by these Nazi people. Literally, she's killed off screen and you find her laying dead in a bathtub. Why would they do this? And then there is this alternate universe version of her and her girlfriend. Both died once again. And Chuck, who was a confirmed bisexual, ended up becoming a huge villain. But back to Cass, because this video is about Destiel. The worst part is that the moment he confesses, he's sent to mega hell for no other reason than being gay. If he had not confessed to Dean, he wouldn't have been sent to the empty. Isn't that just really burying the gays and not bringing him back? Was the real kicker. So I won't be going into much about the cast because most of them support Destiel and it's not their fault that this happened. I've read that Jensen was basically gaslighted into liking the script and that he didn't think it was the right ending for Dean. He was told to just suck it up, basically, and that was that. He's been playing Dean for 15 years. I think he knows what's right for the character. So don't harass them, please. And the real villain here is the writers, but once again, they're people, so don't harass them either, even though I know it's really hard. So now a lot of people are really angry, and with good reason. Castiel was a lot of people's comfort character, and people related to him. So then to have him be canonically queer, I can't talk, was amazing. But it was all ripped away because the writers either didn't feel like worrying about Dean's feelings, or they were catering more to the audience that didn't care about Destiel. Then there's the 12-year queerbait, which will literally go down in history as possibly the most famous ever. That fooled the nation. Right? It definitely wasn't a queerbait because they gave us him confessing in the end, even though it wasn't even canonically like a couple. I hate this. In the episode, Castiel coming out was really just there for shock factor because nothing came out of it. And for me, that's what hurts the most. I am well aware that most LGBTQ plus representation is just a side character that's there for laughs. And Jesus Christ, does that hurt. But I really loved Cass. I related to him. I felt for him. Great character overall. And it really, really hurt to have him ripped away. Then there's a lot of people that couldn't even mourn his death correctly because we were all so sure that he would come back. And then he didn't. Now, in the finale, I think that there were multiple points where the writers could have added Cass. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. So first involves Dean not dying, and it's my favorite, obviously, because Dean doesn't die. I refuse to believe that he's taken out by a rusty nail to the back because it's Dean freaking Winchester. This man has gone to hell multiple times. Okay, whatever. The hunt for the vamps was in a barn, and if you know the show, Cass's first appearance was in fact in a barn. And I think it would have been really cool to have this parallel between the first and the last time that we see Cass enter into the shot. And it would have given him a chance to save Dean Winchester one more time. Because that's what Cass and Dean do. They save each other. And it's very, very painfully obvious that Dean didn't want to die. He had job applications on his dresser, and he finally had free will. Chuck was gone. No one was writing his story anymore. He could go off and do whatever he wanted. So that's the ending that I would like to believe happened, because it's nice and there's no more death. Then, of course, they could have replaced Bobby in heaven with Cass, which again would have been great, that the moment he goes to heaven, he sees the person that he loves. And then, or they could have had Cass appear in the Impala next to Dean when he goes off for his drive, all which would make more sense. And it would let Dean not die, because apparently that's what the writers wanted. Also, I just want to say that all the character development was completely thrown out the window. Sam wanted a white picket fence life at the beginning of the show, and that's what he got. Nothing changed. Dean was destined to die young and alone if he continued hunting. Nothing changed. The saying has always been that family doesn't end in blood, but with this finale, it really feels like it does, which is terrible. So, Supernatural writers, you managed to make the worst finale in history. You proud? You let your fans and even your own cast down. None of them liked it. And you say that it was a good ending? I don't trust you one bit. I hate this so much. Supernatural has continuously dissed their queer audience, even though they were rooting for them. They gave us what we wanted for shock factor, only to take it away from us and pretend like it never happened. And I've been all over the internet, and absolutely everyone is livid and disappointed. I mean, our standards were really low at this point. I didn't even think it could get this bad. And somehow it got even worse than anyone could have imagined. So, final thoughts. Supernatural never really supported Destiel. It's not even really canon, which really, really, really hurts to say. Really bad. Because I wanted to believe that they could actually do it. It was the last episode, ratings didn't really matter anymore. They could have made history, but they didn't, because they were too much of a coward to do so. And I really like the show. I still kind of do. I know where the flaws are and I know what to focus on, but my God, was that ending terrible. And their treatment of Destiel is absolutely disgusting. So yes, I felt the need to make this video, even if it's not really trending by the time I upload this, because I still think it's important. And linked in the description is going to be a fundraiser for the Trevor Project. It focuses on help and suicide prevention for queer youth. Fans of Supernatural created their own fundraiser on this site called the Destiel Project, in memory of not only Cass, but also all the queer characters that were pushed aside, like Charlie, Claire, and Kaya. So if you're able to, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could donate. And if you can't, all you have to do is share the link. So as I was writing this script, the amount donated was $13,203, and now as I'm recording this, it's at $25,000. And this has only been like a day and a half, so this is really helping. So yes. And by the time that I upload it, I can only imagine what we'll be at. And I think that's amazing. That without the help of any of the cast, crew, literally just people online sharing a link and donating to something that matters. So anyway, this is the ending of this video. So if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things that real YouTubers are supposed to say, and goodbye.